Hi, all signed up for the CIS 002 class. Today I want to go over the MLA format. Many of you who were making the sample MLA format, that wasn't quite right. So I'm going to go over making sure that you have everything formatted correctly. And that sample paper that I wanted you to turn in, any of the content could have been fine. I know some of you are confused on what should I write. It was just, any kind of text would have been fine for the sample paper. What I'm looking for and what I was looking for is for you to format it correctly in the MLA format. So let's review the format. Again, there's a website right here for the MLA general format. Down here are the guidelines. So again, make sure you're using 8.5 by 11 paper, double spaced text on your paper, and 12 point. Everything should be 12 points. Some of you were adding larger text for the title and things like that. Don't do that. Everything 12 point. They leave a space after the period. All the margins need to be 1 inch. Indent the first line of each paragraph a 1/2 inch. Create a header that has the name, your name, and page number in the upper right corner, and your instructor may ask to omit the number on your first page, which I am asking you. I believe it's in the directions that you should not have the last name and page number on the first page, but on all consecutive pages. Use italics only if you're necessary, if you're maybe highlighting something, and then make sure your works cited is on its own page. Okay, those are the main things. So let's just go over Word, and I gave you some samples here. Here's a sample page right here from the website. Again, the formatting of the top needs to be your name, my name, the name of the class, and then the date in this format where it has the day, month, and year like this. Okay, then you center the title, and then indent, of course, the first paragraph a 1/2 inch. Again, all this needs to be double spaced, or 2 as far as line spacing. Again, it's here inside Word. 2.0 is the spacing. And then write your paper. Again, this is a paper about you buying a computer, or what kind of computer you would buy. Again, your last name and page number is in the upper right corner. Not on the first page though. I will show you how to turn it off. Again, you need 3 tables. One's is needs assessment, is kind of what are your needs? What kind of computer do you need? Do you need a laptop so you can do computing on the go? Does it need to be connected to the internet? Does it have a long battery life, and so on? And then write a little bit about what kind of computer you've been using, or how you might use a computer. System requirements is again another table that lists maybe the software that you would be using. It could list how the computer is used. Like this one talks about how the laptop is portable, it's on the go. Again, Word. You can also talk about external drives you may need, like this one says USB port in your computer. So the first one is more about how you would use the system. The second one would be what kind of is required of the system for you to use it. Make sure you have Acrobat and so on. The second one should be a comparison of the computer with the different parts of a computer in the comparison chart. I want you to see that you were thinking of how much RAM you would need, how big is the hard drive, is it a spinning hard drive or a solid state drive? I know this doesn't say it here. What kind of processor you would buy? Do you have an optical drive in there? What about USB? And then of course total price. This student sample that I'm showing you did not have a total price here for the computer comparison. I want to see the total price. It's hard to compare 2 computers if you don't know the price. And then the final one, this one is not quite right. I wanted it to be a final chart that actually has no lines and no color. So I know this student put lines and color in there, but again, if you could make a chart that is like the format that I showed in the paper, and I'll open that up again. But again, try to make the final one not like this, but with just that sample. Let me get to the sample. I know I have it here somewhere. The requirements for the paper, this one. Again, at the very end, this is kind of the way I want it to look, kind of like this, with all the different things that you would buy as far as the unit. Do you have a screen? Are you buying a printer? Any software you would have, maybe USB things. Make sure you include tax in there as well. Okay, so again, I think I listed the date you were to turn it in, and let's go over the format. Make sure you, again, most important thing is that you follow the MLA format and make sure you have your 4 tables in there, and be realistic about the computer that you are purchasing. So to do the MLA format, I'm just going to start with a new document in Word, and I know some of you using other programs, you know, whatever, you need to follow the MLA format. So the first thing you're going to notice right off the bat is that this version of Word that I'm using, 2016, has the margins correct already. And what I mean by that is if you're using an older version of Word like 2007, the margins are incorrect in the default setting. So make sure if you're using an older version of Word to change the margins, okay, to adjust the margins is going to be under the layout option, and there's a margin option in the upper right corner here. If you click on there, just make sure this one says normal 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So everything's 1 inch around, okay? That's normal, at least in this version. Next, again, you're to put your name. You want to put my name, the class, and spell it out. Intro to Computing, and then the date. Now you can insert the date so it changes every time you save your paper with the latest date. There is an option to do that, and I just need to find it. I believe it's under Insert, and there is a date option. I did do that in the classroom. If I could remember where it's at, just give me 1 second and I will find it. So it's under Insert, Text over here, at least in this version of Microsoft Word, and I'm doing date and time right here. And then you want to choose day first, day, month, year, like that, and then say Insert. And then hit return. Again, put in the title is going to be centered, so I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to center my text here. Don't worry about format yet. I haven't formatted yet. I'm just putting some text in there for right now. We will adjust the format in a minute. This is title of paper, and what title do you put? It's whatever title you want. My favorite computer, or the computer I need, blah blah blah, something like that. And then hit return. Again, we're going to do left align, and then you can type in some text. Okay, I'm going to type in some text. I might just copy and paste some text from the internet just to make it easier on us. In fact, I'll just steal some text from this paper right here. So again, I'm going to paste some text. Nope, no pages. Where's mine? I didn't want to bring any formatting over. Oh, why is it doing this to me? Hold on, let me undo this for just a second. So I want to paste. There we go. I don't know why it's keeping this formatting here. Okay, so I have some text. I have a title. Now let's start formatting. Again, the margins are already correct. I have the correct information in there already. I just need to format the text properly and format the paragraphs and so on. To do that, and don't worry about putting the page number in the upper right corner yet. We'll do that on the second page. I think one of the things I hopefully in my other video I actually explained that's best to put the name and page number in the upper right corner on the second page, and I'll show you why. But let's just format this correctly. So probably the easiest way to format it would be to select all the text. So I'm going to use Control A or Command A to select everything. Make sure my font is at 12 point right here. It says 12 point, and you can use any font you want. Remember, a sans serif font will be larger size than a serif font. A serif font like this Adobe Carlson Pro would be kind of small, and if I use the Cabri whatever, it would be larger. And then so just keep that in mind. It's still the same point size, it's just the way the font is, it's a little bit different. To do most of the paragraph option is going to be under the paragraph pop-up menu, and if I could find that I would be able to do that, but they've changed it, and this version is different than the one that I am used to. I'm used to 2013. Just give me 1 minute to find that. Okay, so most of the spacing we'll be doing in the home option, at least in this version. Again, I'm using Office 2016. And in this case, the option you're mostly going to want to look for is the paragraph spacing option. And so in this version right here, if I go to the home, again, there's a paragraph option that says line and paragraph spacing. It's right in the middle here. Kind of two blue arrows with some lines going up and down. If I click on that, I can go to my line spacing options right here, the very last one in this list. And inside there, it's going to ask me for my line spacing. And so where it says single here for spacing, we're going to use double, or 2 in the other option, so double here. And then for, remember, we need to indent the first line of a paragraph. That's going to be here before, so that's going to be at the beginning of each paragraph. So I guess the indentation is before. We're going to put a 0.5 inch in there. Again, you can actually go like this to, there's little arrows. So you want a 0.5 in the indentation here. And then first line. Again, we're going to choose special where it says first line. Oh, there it is. No, so don't change this one. This one's 0. I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. That's 0, 0. It should be 0. There we go, 0. It's here where it says special first line by a ½ inch there. And then where it says spacing here, we want line spacing of double. And then another very important one is don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Check that box. That'll help add extra space between paragraphs, so when you hit the return key it doesn't add an extra space. Everything's doubled then. So make sure that one's checked as well. And then when you're done, you hit OK, and most likely it wrapped to 2 pages here because of course it made more space, but let me put it back to 1. And you'll notice everything, notice how that I did the same problem before in class, where since I had the part of the top of my first page on there, it also indented that, and I did not want to do that. So actually there's a couple ways to fix that. Either highlight the top up here and go back to that option and turn all those things off, which would be first line here. I'm going to say none and then hit OK, and it'll put it back. So, or when you're formatting, don't select the top part right here. So be aware of the mistake I just made and try not to make sure these are indented as well. Okay, so again, no footer on these papers. Let's talk about putting the page number and last name on the top. Again, don't do it on the first page. I find problems with trying to do it on the first page. Scroll to the second page. Okay, and when you're on the second page is when you want to insert the last name and page number. To do that, you go under Insert, and you'll notice there is one that says page number right here, and so we're going to add a page number, not header. Now you could do it in header, but that's even more complicated. The easier way to do it is just to use where it says page number right here, And if I click on page number, I'm going to say page number, and it's going to ask me where I want it. I want it in the right corner, bottom of page. No, I want it top of the page. So I'm going to say top of page on the right side. Show number on first page. No, we want to discheck that. We don't want to show number on the first page. So then I'm going to then go to format, and then let's see, we want numbers consecutively. Again, previously I start at page numbering on page 2. I guess you could put it there too. I'm not sure if you really need to do that. But again, show number on first page. Don't want that on there. Okay, so again, I put my number at the top. I hit OK. Then I'm going to add my last name to that. So I'm going to highlight that up there after I put the page number in there. And next to the number, I click next to the number. I'm going to put my name, last name in there, and a space. Okay, so again, go to where it put it up there in the top, double click on it, go over there, put your name next to the page number, and then you can close it when you're done. So that's perfect. That is the way you should do it. Notice it should not be on the first page. It's only on the second page, and so on. And then for the works cited, and then make your tables. I think I have some demos on how to make tables. If you don't know how to make tables, notice there's another problem too. If I was going to insert a table, since I hit return key on the keyboard, it's indented because all paragraphs are indented automatically. And so to make it look good, you probably want to have your table go all the way across. So again, you can turn that formatting off when you're putting in a table by going over here to line spacing option and then turning this off for right now. And turn it off, and then my insert bar goes back to the first page. To insert a table is under insert, and then you have tables here, and you can draw the type of table you want. Okay, and it'll put it in, and then try and format it the way I believe I have some videos on how to do that. There's some pre-made table options here as well. And then for the last table, I want to get this outside there. For the last table, I want to again have no lines in there. So if you go and insert a table, for the last table, let's say you insert the last table and you put some data in there, computer, system, cost, I don't know, whatever the table, you follow the format from the other one, put some stuff in there, stuff in there, stuff in there, follow the format, and then select the table itself. And then there is a border style, and I believe maybe not under border style. There is a way to turn it off. Oh, here it is, borders. And I know there's a way to turn the borders. Border and shading, maybe this one right here. And none. Right here, none. Okay, border and shading, none. And you'll have a nice, beautiful table with no bars on it. So if you can make the last one look like that, great. And then the last thing is make sure your works cited is on its own page. You can insert a new page by going under insert pages right here, and you can say insert blank page. Okay, and that's at the very end, and notice it put the cursor. You don't have to hit return multiple times. Insert a blank page, and then put in the works cited and center that. Again, under home is where the center is, and then hit return. And then left align is where your works cited. And to do your works cited, again, you can use web pages. I know we talked about in the paper, it says visit a computer store. I know there's not too many computer stores anymore. You don't have to go and visit a computer store. Don't worry about that. But what's more important is whatever info you used for the paper, you need to put in the works cited. Any websites you went to, any you went to Apple, you used Apple for pricing, you went to CNET and you did some research, you went and learned about RAM on a certain website, and so anything you went and did that. And an easy way to cite those kind of things, again, if you used Apple, and I used Apple website to price a computer, and you went to the Apple, I don't know, Mac store, and then you used a MacBook Pro, and you went and you bought one, or you priced one, and whatever. You highlight the link up here, and then to put it in the works cited, just use EasyBib. Again, there's a website, EasyBib. for bibliography, you can use that. I know it's not perfect. In your English class, you might have to do it a little bit different, but for me, you can just use EasyBib. You can click on that. You can go and once you're in EasyBib, if it's a website, you can paste that website in there and hit Cite, and it'll come up with your information. Cite this, and then it'll come up with the way of doing it, and then of course you continue your final step, and then it asks you create citation. Oh, you're supposed to put the date in there when you did it, but there, follow the steps in there, and then copy this. Copy. Right here's the copy option, and then go over to your paper, and you can then go edit, paste, and it should be in the correct format, or at least close enough for my class here. So again, hopefully you see how I formatted this, and again, please don't put the stuff on the first page. Second page, nice tables, colors you can use in the tables if you want, except for the very last one. Try and make it nice and plain.